This video is about the psychology of decision making and the benefits or consequences of each decision in a business context. Let's get it. Let's define opportunity cost. If you Google opportunity cost, it says, is a value of the next best alternative when a decision is made. It's what is given up. Now, my simple business definition of opportunity cost is the intentional decision of dedicating resources between items that you deem important in a particular time frame. So I'll give a few examples and you'll decide how you feel about how opportunity cost affects your life. Say you have 30 minutes in the morning. Say it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. Let's say that you have to decide between two things, which are going to the gym or learning from CEO Business Insight and Sinclair Fleming on YouTube. Both are beneficial, both are needed, but you can only do one. You only have one constant in the equation, which is the particular time slot, which is that 30 minutes. Pro tip, any decision in your life, look for the constant factors and the variable factors before making a decision. Okay, so you have to choose as the time is getting closer, and doing nothing should not be an option in your valuable constant resource, which now is time. The equation is Tuesday at 10 a.m. you have 30 minutes. And now you have to weigh the benefits of your ROI, which is return on investment, of these two actions and determine which one, based on the information you have, will have a larger impact on your long-term goals. Now, sidebar, remember, one decision based on opportunity cost of another is not the cause or change of the result. It's the chain reaction of these decisions over time. Your habits and these decisions over time determine your outcome. So based on the example above, if you always choose to go to the gym, you might be stronger and more aesthetic, but you may not have the knowledge necessary to get ahead in life. Similarly, if you choose to always learn, you go on YouTube, you read books. If you choose to always learn, you might have the knowledge to get ahead, but you might not have the health and strength or energy it takes to take action. These are the compounding effects of overtime and opportunity cost in the choices that you make based on the limited resources you have. Now, regardless of which choice you make, the act of making a choice is the opportunity cost, and the act of inaction is still a choice. It is still made for you because that 30 minutes is cemented in stone. Tuesday at 10 a.m. is now cemented, whether you decided to do something or not. But if you don't make a decision, this goes down in time as that 30 minutes where you had inaction and you could not make a decision based on your objectives. And this may cause the desired effect that you're looking for, that result, to move further and further away from you. Now, I've made this example simple, and people say, hey, I would just go to the gym with my phone and watch YouTube while I'm at the gym. Now, anyone that goes to the gym knows it's very difficult to split your focus. Can you work out and listen to YouTube at the same time? For sure. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it probable? Probably not. It's not probable that you will get the same intense workout focusing on the thing that you're trying to learn on YouTube. It's improbable that you will get all the information from the YouTube video while concentrating on moving around the gym, moving different things, and getting your workout done. So what ends up happening to someone that's indecisive and tries to do everything at once? They get a mediocre result on everything. So more than likely, you end up effectively wasting time because you didn't get the quality workout that you went for, and then you weren't able to absorb all of the information from the video you were trying to concentrate on. So now you have to make the choice to either do both things over again, which will lead you right back to another opportunity cost, or maybe you can just decide to be mediocre and move on with your life. These are your decisions to make. Focus is a very important aspect in opportunity cost. That's why we always say you can't focus on the thing you decided not to do. You cannot focus on what would have happened if you chose that other thing. You will never know based on the time frame when you made that choice. All you can do is take that little action and see if what you chose is moving you forward to your overall goal. And the quicker you make that choice, the quicker you can focus on it, and the quicker you can see if you're getting the results that you wanted. Deliberation is something that you need, but you can never double back on the choice that you made before. It's already gone. Cemented in stone, as I said earlier. Now, yes, I know the Google definition above states that the opportunity cost is the difference between the two choices. But in reality, in the world, it's fluid. You may be judging yourself off spending one night out drinking, causing you not to study for that important test. But what about if that night you were able to befriend a future investor and change your life 10 years down the road? You don't know. You can only depend on the choices you made, try to get value out of those choices, and move forward. Now, maybe you may have the ability to make another choice. You might be able to say, hey, this isn't working. I have to choose something else. What is the opportunity cost of me stopping this thing and starting a similar thing that I would have chose back then? But you have to realize no matter what you do, you're older now, the market is changing every day. So no matter what decision you try to make, the decision you would have made a year ago is gonna be different now. All right, so that was a simple example everyone can relate to. Let's get to some money decisions. So remember, your result should always be constant, which is a successful dentist, a global first phase bodybuilder, being featured on Oprah's best book author list series or whatever she calls it. And the resources at that moment is constant as well. Whether it's your time or your energy or whatever it is, those things are constant. So to illustrate, the result is your destination. Your resources are the fuel, and the options and variables is the vehicle. You can choose to get there however you want, but where you're going should be the same, and you're gonna need energy, fuel, something to get you there. Now let's go to a different example. Maybe you own a boutique hotel and you're trying to expand. You found yourself with about $100,000 extra dollars after year's end, and you decided, should I add 2 more rooms? Maybe a suite to my hotel? Should I add a bar? Should I add more amenities? Should I raise my salary? Or should I raise the salary of my employees? Should I save this money? Should I invest this money? The constant between this entire thing is that $100,000. The extra disposable income that you have right now, you're trying to decide what to do with this cash. Now you have all these different factors, but you can more than likely only decide to do 1 or 2 things with the amount of constant, which is the cash that you have right now. If you try to split the money between everything, more than likely nothing will be satisfied. Think about it. If you try to split the money between your salary increase and building a bar, you'll probably only get $1 increase and the bar probably wouldn't work. Or you might build that bar and have no money for drinks. The lesson to understand is you have to sit and realize which of these things all being important, but which one is gonna propel you towards your goal the fastest. Whether that goal is being a 5-star restaurant, or maybe you want to have a nice family spot where people come and congregate by the bar, or maybe you want an events hotel where you have extra space and amenities for people to do like weddings or different events. First and foremost, you have to have a goal of what you're trying to do before you deploy capital. Then you have to decide if the capital allotted to those goals will actually get the result that you're after. And try to avoid doing arbitrary things like some people give their staff a raise of $1 just to say that they gave their staff a raise, but it was negligible. They don't feel it and you didn't get the morale from it. Stop trying to split everything into one. You have to focus on one thing and decide that this is what will give you the most value, the most bang for your buck. Remember I said earlier, it's a chain reaction of decisions. This one decision probably won't mean the end, but the chain reaction, your value system of how you actually make decisions is what's propelling you forward to your ultimate goal. You have to make these decisions with an intentional manner of getting to that destination. Now, if you realize in any of these examples, I have yet to give you advice on which decision to make, but I'm trying to let you know that there are examples. I'm just setting out examples so you can understand that there are decisions to be made. There are constant factors which are resources and time and money should be a result of what you're trying to achieve in the long term. Let me give you one more example of a solar company. Now let's say Jimmy owns a solar company and it's going great. Jimmy has about 10 employees and now he's been called up for 10 additional jobs. So okay, Jimmy has access to raw materials needed to do these jobs, but he needs some extra personnel. Now he has some extra money, but he wants to go to the bank to see if he can get a loan. Now he has an opportunity cost to make, which is better, to use his cash or to go to the bank and get the loan. Which one will make the company better? Know that you have a few variables in this deal, which is what you're actually trying to do for the purpose of the example, is trying to grow and scale the company, trying to get higher retail jobs and trying to do these jobs faster so he can get more profits. Okay, so he decides he needs more staff for sure. To do these jobs, he needs more hands. But now because he's doing more jobs, he needs more raw material. And he has access to some raw materials, but he has no place to store them. His storage is very small. And because he doesn't have storage, the jobs delay because every time the guys need something, he has to put it on order. or he has to tie up his capital always in raw material doing orders, and he has to do payroll. Now you want to hire more staff, which now means more tools, more trucks, which means more cell phones or whatever infrastructure you need to keep in contact with these guys to make sure that the job is going swimmingly. So say this is a case and you wanted to get a loan from the bank for about $200,000. He sat one day and really analyzed things and said this will make the job a lot easier. But when he started to write down all of the expenses associated with this, he came up with he needs $1.2 million. That's a big jump. But this would encompass buying more trucks, building a warehouse, getting more equipment, staff to pay them correctly, the correct safety gear, tools needed to finish these new jobs, and of course, marketing to get new jobs once these jobs are done. More jobs, more expenses. Now Jimmy has a very important choice to make because he only qualifies for $200,000 at the bank, and he's only comfortable with taking $200,000. His risk tolerance is only good for $200,000 at this point, way far from that $1.2 million. So now he has to decide whether he can hire enough staff to get this job done or reject the jobs. So you start to think, as all entrepreneurs do, what about if I hire staff and they're actually moving faster, but then they run out of raw material? What about if I build this storage and I have excess raw material, but then the guys that I have can't process that raw material fast enough and something happens to it? Now, what if I get the staff and the storage, but now I can't afford the tools and the trucks needed to get these things to where they need to be on those jobs? And what about for some magical reason, if I got the staff, the warehouse, the tools, and the trucks, but now I don't have marketing? So what's gonna happen when these influx of jobs are finished? Now you have additional inflated monthly expenses, more staff to pay, more taxes to pay, the loan is still there to be paid. You have to make these decisions en route, because maybe you have more jobs, but it's not the same rate of jobs as you had before. Now, these type of scenarios and daily decisions that CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs have to go through every day. Every day is a fight to figure out where to allocate your time, human capital, and business capital, your expertise. These are the things that opportunity costs that you have to weigh for yourself to see. More trucks, more storage, more staff. Okay, what are we gonna do with this staff if this doesn't work out? Can we sell the trucks? Do we have to do layoffs? Like, if we did the storage, what else can we store? Can we rent it out? Like, there's so many things that goes through the entrepreneur's mind for risk assessment. Maybe there's information out there that would allow you to rent that warehouse instead of building it. Get a part-time staff instead of full-time staff. And maybe you can buy those fixed assets like those tools and trucks and use it as a tax write-off. Or maybe you can get a good deal on a used truck. But if you want to decide how to make good, sound decisions in your field, first you need to be informed. This is why CEOs and business owners, we always try to find new information. We try to read books. We try to learn from others by osmosis. We try to get inspired by others. We always watch YouTube videos like these. We always try to figure out where the information is because the time is constant. You never know when you're gonna need this information, so you try to just get as much of it as possible. So by the time you do make a decision, you can make an educated guess. Now Jimmy has to make a decision whether to get this loan for this additional jobs or don't get the loan and reject the jobs and just continue doing the amount of jobs that he can do right now. Even though Jimmy is confident that if he were able to get this staff, this money, he would be able to do those jobs consistently in perpetuity. Now, if he made the decision, he'll have to stick with that and look back 10 years. He might say, hey, why did I build that warehouse for $75,000? I was stupid. Why didn't I just rent that warehouse? But at the time, you have to make the decision with the capital, time, and knowledge that you have. So knowing your customer base, knowing your market, knowing your industry, and more importantly, knowing yourself gives you a good base to make these decisions, because risk is something that we deal with every day. You as a business owner has to know your risk tolerance, and you have to make decisions that you're comfortable with. So whether Jimmy decided to do the $200,000 or trying to figure out if he can finally get that $1.2 million, it's a decision that he's gonna have to deal with and his family's gonna have to deal with. Now, will this one decision make or break Jimmy? Of course not. There are decisions to be made every day. This is what entrepreneurs fall into, that grow or die mentality. Jimmy might end up just doing those jobs and live a great life moving forward. But the experience behind it and the likely if this goal is going to the result that he has set before is very important. he has to intentionally make that decision to move towards that goal, whether it's slower with the fewer jobs or faster with incurring debt from the bank. But you have to decide if you are comfortable with that. So opportunity cost is everywhere. This is in your business and in your personal life. It's in your workout habits and it's in the food you eat. It's everywhere. It's that little voice in your head that tells you whether you should do something or not. Your world experience, what you have seen, what you learned over time. It's the little voice that tells you if you should break up with your wife or stay with your spouse. It's the same voice that lets you know whether to spend that money on a new car or put it into an investment property. It's the same voice that tells you whether to buy that Gucci belt or pay your child support. The opportunity cost of all these variables and constants is what you have to decide in your life. You have to decide what you want to happen based on your habits. If you have a strong inner voice with a good beat on what result you want, more than likely you'll be making good decisions in small increments over time that will get you to your goal. Once you understand that you won't get 100% or maybe even 70% of these decisions right, you can now reduce the fear of making these decisions and just make them quickly and then decide whether they're working or not. Because you might be weighing two options and look back and say, hey, this other one would have worked better, but you never know. That other decision where you think would be better might have led you to bankruptcy. Because most people see 1 or 2 steps in front of them. You need to start to see 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of you. There's no point in evaluating a decision that you didn't make. You just need to get more information on the decision that you have, the information you have, and see if you can make even stronger decisions in the future. Now, opportunity cost is the way we all operate. Like and subscribe to the video, and remember, my name is Sinclair Fleming. Now, go take action.